Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Now.
This is Motorsport Radio. Join the conversation and have your say on motorsport-radio.com. Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome to another live Superbike show. My name is Lester. This is Motorsport Radio. Hello and welcome. Well, coming up on tonight's programme, we will be talking about all the latest moving and shaking and goings on in MotoGP, who's coming and who's going, and whether we broke the news first, because we had an exclusive rumour, well, Kiko did anyway, a couple of weeks ago that Jake Dixon was off to Moto2. Turned out to be actual fact. Yeah, so well done us, I suppose. And coming up on tonight's programme, we'll be looking about all the latest news and stuff in MotoGP and also World Superbikes as well, finding out what's going on with that. We know a lot of people don't really pay that much attention to World Superbikes at the moment because it's World Superbikes, but also as well it's a big BSB preview this weekend because they are at Assen, and yeah, we'll be previewing that with Mr. Kiko Giles, who joins us right now.
Hello, good evening. Yes, we are. We're just distributing our visual stream out to those of you on the Facebooks and Twitters. Hello and welcome, good evening. Another great show to come tonight. Another episode to be tallied off. We're coming to the end of the season, and that means there's lots of bike racing action. So we've got to look back at Aragon and the MotoGP event there. We've got to look forward to British Superbikes coming up this weekend. We've got to talk about World Superbikes coming up this weekend. In both of those championships, we could see champions decided. It's very much likely in World Superbikes. It's maybe not so likely in British Superbikes, but anything can happen. Lots to talk about as this show goes on. And, of course, we've got a few conversations to have. Our big question tonight, should Tom Sykes be coming back to British Superbikes, or should he be staying in World Superbikes? And our second big question, if you like, Glenn Irwin, let us know your thoughts on his move to the JG Speedfit Kawasaki team for 2019, having already had a contract in place from Paul Bird. Of course, it was not hidden knowledge, not hidden away from the public domain that Paul Bird made, maybe. No hesitation in saying that there would be no guaranteed ride for Glenn Irwin at Paul Bird Motorsport Ducati next year, and that has been the case. So Glenn Irwin will move. It looks like it'll be a brand new lineup at the Paul Bird Motorsport Ducati team next year. Let us know your thoughts on all that as well.
Exactly, yeah. We are live right now on the old internet. It's at M Sport Radio on Twitter. It's Motorsport Radio on Facebook. Or you can leave your comments in the comments box below, wherever you're tuned into us. And also, don't forget as well, you can also download this show as an audio, what do the kids call it now? Podcast? Is that the old-fashioned word for it? Downloadable radio show in your ears. And also, we have a visual download as well. So also on the Apple podcasts. Is that the app?
We'll probably be streaming it live on the website as well.
Live on website, motorsport.radio, live on Twitter, live basically everywhere.
So whilst you're reading, you can read all our content, BSB previews, World Superbike previews, press releases. You can listen back as well. So there's we cater for those who are able to multitask.
Exactly, yeah, and the fact that Kiko is probably on about 10 different websites and social media platforms at the moment, loves that fact. Anyway, but yes, let us know your thoughts. It's your chance tonight, live on the show, to get involved and have your say. Glenn Irwin, as you said, had a deal in place, and now it's he's got another deal for next year with another team, which suggests maybe that Scott Redding might be coming in. Potentially. It's something we'll get involved in.
There's the opportunity to do so.
Well, that would be an obvious conclusion to come to if now Glenn, well, as we know, he has gone over to Bournemouth Kawasaki and what is currently JG Speedfit team there. But let us know your thoughts. Are these good moves for these riders? Are they bad moves? We were talking last week on the show that with the potential lack of Shaky Byrne next season, and
Leon Haslam. Superbikes.
Who would
Jake
be
Dixon now going?
Yeah, who are the natural title contenders, you'd have to say.
And who's the pull factors?
I mean, who are the big stars?
Absolutely. We'll find out, won't we, next year?
Anyway, on to some big news, or just news, in MotoGP, Kiko.
Yeah, MotoGP. Petronas, the Malaysian petroleum company, are to partner MotoGP until 2020. They will be sponsors at the Thai round and at the Malaysian round as well. So it's Sepang and Buriram. Those circuits are getting a little bit more backing, I think, and in a good part of the world. New markets with Dorna, and that is brilliant. Or one new market in Thailand, continuing growth in the market of Malaysia. So that's good news there. Paul Espargaro has had a successful surgery again because he re-broke a collarbone at Aragon at turn 15, having already broke at turn 3 before at Brno, the Czech round. That was about August time. We're now in the end of September, so Paul Espargaro's season has gone from bad to worse. For us British fans, though, smug faces all around because Bradley Smith is the top performing KTM, and he's the one who's out of a ride. MotoGP replacement riders now need approval from a selection committee if they are to ride. So that all stems from the Christoph Pontzen debacle back at Misano when he was drafted in to replace Tito Rabat. He obviously wasn't up to speed. He did a very good job considering he'd had no testing on the bike, but there is now going to be an additional process in place to scrutinise any rider really that's coming in to make sure they're up to speed, really. It's a safety aspect. We have had the teams out for the years, for 2019. In MotoGP, every team will have 2 bikes in 2019, and there will be 11 of those teams. So 22 entries have been confirmed. We're waiting on everyone's. We're waiting on everyone but 2 riders' signatures. I believe Tito Rabat is one of them. And talking to Tito Rabat, he has left hospital. So good news there from Tito Rabat. Horrendous crash at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Arguably led to the cancellation of the Grand Prix as well, because we wouldn't have known how bad Stowe Corner would have been without that accident. So Tito Rabat on the mend, says he wants to be back for Thailand. I'm not so sure about that. Just one bit of news as well. MotoGP will no longer their riders will be no longer permitted to use launch control settings in the pit lane start. I can only imagine that's for safety reasons, just in case we have some skittles in pit lane, not something anyone wants. But MotoGP news, very thin on the ground. The biggest news out of all that, probably about riders needing approval if they're replacing someone else. That's quite a hefty introduction there. Yeah,
that's... I don't know. What do we make of that? Is that a good thing potentially? I mean, obviously, we need to know that they're up to actually the task of actually being competent and being good enough, despite whatever commercial factors might end up getting a rider on a...
Absolutely. They're not just commercial factors, nationality factors. You could also talk financial factors as well.
Same thing, I suppose. Is that a good thing generally, or I'm kind of surprised it's not already been a thing that there wasn't any oversight to say, hang on, that 12-year-old shouldn't be in Moto 2. Just chill out.
Gorman.
But he's definitely good enough, by the way.
Yes,
just mention that. I'm kind of surprised that such a thing hasn't already been a thing.
It's an hard one because I'm surprised it's not already been a thing. But Christoph Pontzen took a lot of flack personally for this. Now, to me, it's not his fault that he's had A, no testing on the bike, and 2, he's been allowed to ride. So you can't blame Christoph Pontzen. Every rider's going as fast as they can, and considering he had no tests on the bike to be within 107% of the top time, he did a reasonably good job. Should he have been out there? Absolutely not. And that's why they've put this thing in place. And I think that's a good thing because at the end of the day, MotoGP is the premier class. That's what it brands itself on. And that's what it is. Now that it's kind of took over from World Superbikes about 15, 20 years ago as the leading motorcycle championship. It is the premier class of world motorcycle racing. And it should only be the very, very fastest riders in that championship, whether that's full-time riders or replacement riders. I mean, you still wouldn't want to see someone who's completely not up to speed on any bike, whether it's the vintage Ducati or the factory Yamaha. Well, I'd say factory Yamaha if they were actually fast enough. So say Marc Marquez got injured, you wouldn't want to see someone like Toru Kawa go out on the Repsol Honda. He's been out of action for years. You want to see someone who's quick and fast enough, Stefan Bradl, for example. So that's where we're going with that, and I do not think that's a bad thing at all. Every rider who's not had previous experience, we should add that bit as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because does it apply to maybe riders coming back, say, if maybe one day, I doubt it'll be anytime soon, but maybe Fanati, would he have to go through this particular panel? And
he would have to get his FIM licence given back to him first. We're coming on to a bit of Fanati news actually in a minute, but no, there's a bit of controversy and all that around the scenario, but I do believe that it's the best thing, because everyone in MotoGP really is in there because they're on merit, not because their riders, their money has bought a seat. Even Carol Abraham is quick enough. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way, but a lot of people give him a lot of stick for maybe not having the amount of pace that people would have for his longevity that he's been in the class, but he's had good results. Maybe not stellar results, but he's not been bad. Christoph Pontzen, on the other hand, has done very, very little. He's never really rode in World Superbikes to a competent level.
He might be tuned in.
Never, well, bonjour and au revoir in his case, actually, at MotoGP. It wasn't Avinia's best idea, really. But again, they needed a rider, so what more can we do?
Let us know your thoughts. If it's a obvious thing to do, if it's the wrong thing to do, and I don't know, anyone will potentially say it's maybe a bad thing to just have a panel to oversee whether riders are actually fit and up to the job of actually riding at speed, versus just getting them on the bike just to get the team a bit of money. Maybe it could have the adverse consequence of some teams going bust mid-season and more teams doing that because the riders that they wanted to bring in because they've got money and yada yada. Oh, but let us know your thoughts. Anyway.
But there's plenty of fast riders that've got money, though.
Are there?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course there is.
All right.
If you said, so for an example, who I would have put on that bike at Misano instead of Christoph Pontzen, Xavi Forés, World Superbike rider, quite fast, podiums. He's on a Ducati, links in from a branding point of view because he stays part of the Ducati family. And he's obviously quick enough. He's been to Misano that year. He's got podiums in World Superbikes, which is, whilst people might not find it very entertaining, it's still a very, very high-level championship. So, yeah, Christoph Pontzen was not a very good signing at all, really.
Oh, shame.
Jordi Torres didn't do any better than him. Jordi Torres didn't score points at Aragon, but he was much quicker, and he was less of a threat and a danger.
Is you going to say less of a dick?
No, less of it.
Sounded like yours. Anyway,
it's before the watershed. Come on.
Fair enough. Anyway, your thoughts. We're online. We're live right now, unless we're not, and you've tuned into us and downloaded us.
On your way to Aston, maybe.
Maybe on your way to Aston. Maybe on that flight.
Or down to Magny-Cours.
Or wherever.
So we do reach international. We are internationally recognised.
Exactly. We go all the way to Bournemouth, where Bournemouth Kawasaki tuned into us right now. Hello, guys. Hello. And yes, Moto2 news then.
Moto2 news, not a lot of it, but the big news, British fans, finally, it's come out. Jake Dixon has gone to Angel Nieto KTM for 2019. We had to sit on that for a while. We kind of knew that was going to happen. I knew the Monday after Mazzano it was going to happen. Couldn't really say much, so we put it out as a rumour.
You can't be smug after the fact. You either break the news or you don't.
You can't break news when it's not official. You've just got to put it out as a rumour. It's
called a scoop. It's what journalists do.
Yes, but then there's legal fees at the end of it, so I couldn't say anything. But yes, Jake Dixon's gone to the Angel Nieto KTM team. He will be alongside a rider who we do not know yet, but that will come in due course. The final lists are coming out in Valencia, so we'll know then. Last one of the year. Roberto Fanati's incident may well go to court, we're hearing. In Italy, a judge in Rimini is prosecuting on private violence grounds. So whatever that means.
Is that relating to the thing that we know about, or something else?
The Stefano Manzi incident. Well, I presume it is.
Because the wording of it, I don't know if it was just badly translated.
Then you go causing rumours.
Yeah, but like a private violent. What was it worded as? A violent incident.
Private violation or something like that.
Yeah, some private violence. So that's the way I read it anyway. And I'm thinking, is that just badly translated, or has there been something else happen in, I don't know, in the paddock? I won't put it past him.
Well, who knows? There's some more breaking news regarding Romano Fenati.
If it is, you heard it here first. If it's not, let's move on. Literally
breaking news, we should say. Moto2, 32 entries in 2019. I think that's down from this year, but 32 very healthy intermediate class, I must say. Moving swiftly on to Moto3, not much news at all in Moto2. Moto3, 29 entries in 2019 for them, and Marcos Ramirez will leave the Bestia Dubai KTM team, I think they go by now. Bestia Dubai KTM team, and he will join Leopard Racing, so part of the team that Enea Bastianini is currently with, and Lorenzo Della Porta, so one of them will have to move.
Now, talking about, I just want to go back to Moto2 as well, the breaking rumour that we claimed after the fact, after it actually happened, because you didn't want to upset other teams in the paddock, basically. So, Jake Dixon, going to Moto2 now, as we know. For you, is this a right move for him? Is it a right move for his career? Obviously, he might not. I mean, we don't know how soon he started negotiating with the team, but Shaky could still come back next year. And as we've already talked about briefly, BSB is looking for, I suppose, a title contender. And Jake Dixon you'd have to say, if he had have stayed in BSB next year, he would have been one of the only couple who you could easily name straight away as being one of the big massive names. So is it the right thing for him?
Absolutely. I think you've got to look at, for Jake Dixon's career, you know, it's going to go on a bigger scale than British Superbikes, and I don't mean to do the championship down, but every lad's dream is to get to a world stage. Maybe not so much World Superbikes now, but definitely MotoGP, Moto2. And he's gone at the right time. The deal's been coming around for about 18 months now, so it started a long, long time ago. There's rumours about maybe Moto2 this year. But, of course, they change over from Honda Power to Triumph Power next year. So everyone's on a much more level playing field. And Jake Dixon may well be the one to take advantage of that change, because he won't have known anything else before going, as far as the Moto2 bike's concerned. So I think Jake Dixon moving at the right time.
Interesting.
But I might just want to warn him, I'm not sure on the Nando's situation in the MotoGP paddock, because I know he's a fan of Nando's. Him and Danny Buck and Nando, investors, I think is the word you want to look for. I'm not sure on the Nando's situation across Europe, though.
Well, I think they'll be sorted. I'm guessing. I don't know. I could be wrong.
See.
Yeah, but best of luck to Mr. Jake Dixon
yes.
in 2019, and hopefully it's not just. I mean, yes, as you said, everybody wants to go to the GP paddock anyway, but it's not just about being on the grid, because it's actually, if you just get on the grid and you're at the back, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it, for your career? But hopefully that's not going to be the case. I'm sure it's not going to be the case, and we will, of course, follow every single race live next year.
Very closely.
Very, very, very closely on the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio, with Kiko's articles on the website, motorsport.radio as well. Yes, a bit of World Superbike news.
It's very little. Big news, though, really. The European Superstocks 1000 Championships collapsing. No more after the end of this year. This will be the last round they go to. This weekend it might be caught. Quite a sad fact, actually.
Why is it collapsing or collapsed?
19 people in it, none of them near lap record pace, not very competitive, not very well publicised. The World Superbike organisers have themselves to blame for that, because it's on at the wrong time of the day when everyone else has gone home. It doesn't build up to the main 1000cc race, which is, of course, Superbikes. So, yeah.
Was it one of them that was after the
Yeah, it was something that no one stops for, and I just don't see the point in it. So I don't think it's good for World Superbikes, put it that way. But we'll come on to that in a bit. British Superbike news. Glenn Irwin, we've already said, is making a switch to the JG Speed for Kawasaki team for 2019. Let us know what you think about that, because that is a huge bit of news. The first team, the first big rider to come together, make a signing, and that is the first change, of course, as well. So the first mover and shaker, Glenn Irwin, the Northern Irishman, 3 Northwest 200 wins as well, 4 Paul Bird Motorsport Ducati.
Kind of a regular on this show.
Regular on this show. Will he be back at the Northwest on the roads doing the business next year for the JG Speedfit Bournemouth Kawasaki team? We know they've got a roads campaign going as well. Going to be a very, very interesting year for the number 2 rider there next year. We don't know his teammate. We'll speculate on that a little bit later on. Bit more BSB news. They're going to have a bit of a takeover on the Motorcycle Live stage. So if you're at Motorcycle Live like we're going to be, go and check it out. It's going to be full of British Superbike talent. And I think that'll be a very, very good event. And the first time ever, I think that's happened. Yeah,
I was reading the press release about that, and it said, I thought I read it wrong, to be perfectly honest. First time ever for a BSB, as you say, day, really. I think they're just like media day on the Monday. Yeah. I think they're dedicating the entire Saturday. I think it's I forget now. We'll tell you later. But one of the days of Motorcycle Live is a BSB day, and I was shocked that it had never happened before. I mean, I've been to the last 3 previously, but that's like nothing really. So I just presumed it had happened before, but maybe.
Sorry, Bikezilla.
All right, yeah. I don't.
He's been converted.
Now, I went in 2016, just after Motorsport Radio had launched, with
and in 17
with Tom Brooks, and we went last year as well. As a few viewers and listeners would have met us and said hello and stuff, and it'd be fun to go back this year and see who's knocking about and see who we can go and doorstep for a few interviews.
Yeah, so we see if we can get above. How many interviews we did last year? 39.
A lot. I was kind of exhausted by the. We did 3 full days. I couldn't do the whole stretch.
No.
So we just do sort of like a few days. Literally grab everyone who's there, and even if they're running away from us, we'll chase them down. And literally, we did in Bradley Smith's case.
And Joe and Zarko.
Yeah, and Zarko and Shane Byrne as well. We literally sort of rugby tackled them for interviews. That's literally how passionate we are, and to get interviews for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Basically. We will be there. What was we talking about now? World Superbikes.
Yes.
Or BSB as well, yes. So Glenn Irwin, interesting. We will speculate a bit later, even carrying on the speculation from last week on the show, about Bournemouth Kawasaki and the JG Speedfit Kawasaki team later. So I don't know, maybe I don't know if Dale's tuned in, or maybe Pete or anyone from the team, or even Anthony. Hello, by the way.
Evening.
They can, I don't know, maybe slide us a DM or something, gives a little tip, or maybe say who it won't be. That'd be interesting. Just to talk about anyway. A couple of comments flooded in. Hello, by the way. Hello to Ben Newman. Says, Irwin is not a short track rider. He should stick to road racing, in his opinion, says Ben Newman. Crickets on that one, Ben. Paul Dempsey, hello Paul, has been in touch saying, really think this is going to be an amazing move for him, top rider. I think he's talking about Jake Dixon. I would probably agree, yes, hopefully, as we said, best of luck. We don't think he's going to just turn up and be at the back. He has the talent to do it, but it depends on, I mean, anything can happen in races, so it'll be good to see him
Whilst we're on about Jake Dixon, he has got a special crash helmet this weekend. One that his dad wore 30 years ago when he won his first ever British Championship as a privateer. Jake Dixon's vying for the British Championship as a privateer this year, 30 years later on. So I think it's a nice little bit of symmetry, father and son style there.
Exactly, yeah.
It always falls right for them two, Darren Dixon and Jake Dixon, Darren his dad. Jake's first win came at Knockhill on Father's Day.
Very good. Yes, I remember that was last year, wasn't
17. It? Yeah, 2017.
That was, I remember watching that. That was good. All right, and so other bits of news then. Well, actually, just going back to the Stock 1000, the European Stock 1000, to be honest. I know it's kind of stretching people's knowledge, about even my own.
It's even stretching mine. I forgot it was a thing. That's why it's going.
Well, that answers my question, really. Is it a good or bad thing for World Superbikes? I think since very few people even knew about it, cared about it, even less cared about it, to be honest. Yeah, even fewer people watched it or followed it. So you can't say it was a good thing, but do we care? It's one of them.
The problem is that, when it's not promoted right, then it doesn't become a money-making championship. And when it doesn't become a money-making championship, that's when it has to go. So from a financial point, it probably does have to go. But from a spectator point of view, that's the worst. That's another round off the World Superbike, another race off the World Superbike weekend in Europe. Anyway, what's going on?
Maybe they'll fill it with something else.
Well, there's rumours of a third race coming in, but gimmicks again. It's all these gimmicky things. Now, I like them.
There's nothing wrong with gimmicks. I mean,
no, but you can't start taking classes out. Because it doesn't work. There's no now.
But if they're not working when they're in there, why not just take them out? There is now no
natural progression to go to from European Stock 1000 up to World Superbikes.
Well, you've got
to jump out of British Superbikes, and we know that's a handful because the British Superbikes are different specs to World Superbikes. You can go from British National Stock 1000 and then into British Superbikes, but by the time you get to Worlds, it's totally different. So I don't get where they've gone with that.
Well,
it's a bit weird. It's a very weird one. Don't understand. Well, I do understand it.
Maybe they've got their own.
Superbike organisers have helped themselves.
Yeah, maybe they've just got their own thing in mind, what they want to do. Maybe they know what's coming in.
Well, let's hope they do, because we certainly don't. And at the end of the day, people pay money to go and watch these events, and if they don't know what they're getting, well, that's why people will stop paying. In fact, are stopping paying watching these events.
Talking about being paid or getting refunded, at least from big events. Yes, the Silverstone, just to touch upon that, Silverstone have now started refunding people, as attested by, because I think regular listener Jamie King and also Cool Fab Rider as well got his refund. But as we talked about again on the show, it's not just really about ticket prices, because people spend easily upwards of 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 pounds per weekend on getting the entire family there, travel, merchandise, food, accommodation, parking, for example, all adds up, and just to get refunded a little bit for your ticket price is not really good enough. But that's my own opinion. Hello, Silverstone, by the way. One other comment before we move on. Josh Warner, he's been on. Hi, Josh. He says, where do you think Danny Kent will end up? We don't know. BSB.
I give up with the Danny Kent situation.
Could he be in BSB?
Yeah, he could. I honestly don't know.
We don't know. Is the answer?
No, I don't know. I don't think Danny Kent going to Moto3 is going to do him any good. He clearly hasn't gone with any Moto2 bike. Kalex, not worked. Tech 3, not worked. Yeah. Suter, not worked. Speed Up, not worked. Moto3, champion, yes. Didn't perform great to the end, though, did he? Very lucky, in fact, that, Miguel Oliveira didn't win a race till a third of the way through the season. Otherwise, it would have been a totally different story. Danny Kent's had his chances. Not sure where he's going to go, I'm afraid. I'm not sure at all.
I think
British Superbikes, it's a 1000cc bike. It's going to be a handful.
Well, anything's going to be a challenge for him. No matter where he goes.
But he's not adapted to anything but a Moto3 bike, and he can only go on in Moto3 for so many years. He's not particularly popular either through a few off-track escapades that we know about. Can't say.
Anyway, Josh, what do you think he'll do anyway? Where do you think he'll end up? It's good asking us, but sometimes we just don't know. I certainly don't anyway. And if Kiko doesn't know, that means he could be anywhere. Could he just maybe have a season out on the sidelines? Would that do his career?
Tried that last year.
Oh yeah.
I do not think that Danny Kent has a very bright future ahead of him. If he gets another ride in Moto2 next year, I will be staggered.
Hi, Danny, by the way.
Good evening, but he's wasting his opportunities.
I think he knows better than everyone else what his situation is.
Oh, we're just reminding him.
And you're more than welcome to come on the show, by the way, if you are tuned in, any of the Kents or friends of the Kents.
Please, you go somewhere else for that.
And moving on. This is the Superbike show on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Kiko Giles is here, and we will be previewing the upcoming opening of the Motorsport Awards a bit later on, which officially open for your nominations on the 1st of October, which, according to my calculations, is Monday. We'll tell you a bit about that a bit later on. But yeah, getting on to MotoGP review from Aragon then. And,
what a race.
Wow.
What a race. What a race. 3 factory bikes in the top 3, going at it right till the end of the race. Fantastic stuff. Marc Marquez won eventually ahead of Andrea Dovizioso, but Suzuki manufactured the day 3rd and 4th. Andrea Iannone led at one point when Marquez and Dovi came together at turn 14. That was an incredible scene. Alex Rins 4th and Aleix Espargaro. We spoke about this last week, Lester. I cannot believe we're gonna have to put more of the Cassini press releases. No, we said that he's gonna be struggling to get in the top 10, and I said, but with both Yamahas not quite on the pace, he has a better chance. And lo and behold, not only does he get the top 10, but he finishes ahead of both Yamahas. 6th place, joint best result for Aprilia this year. And Neil Hodgson, I'll quote what he said in his commentary on Friday, I think it was. He says, what Aprilia need to do is stop doing what they're doing and start again. As basically start their GP projects all over again. And Aleix Espargaro, in a difficult year Aprilia have had, just gone and put a 6th place effort in. That is a fantastic achievement. Top job for Aprilia. Mega happy for them. Pedrosa, best result of the year. Equal best result of the year with 5th. Jorge Lorenzo let me down a £22 on my accumulator on the weekend. I chose not to cash out when Brad Binder won. I had £7 I could have cashed out for. I thought, no, Jorge Lorenzo's bob on to win this. Goes and launches it at turn 1. Thank you, Jorge. Blame Marc Marquez for that crash, actually. Jorge Lorenzo's broken toe. Looks like he's done his whole leg in because he's got a massive cast around it all. You can go and find that on your relevant social media outlets. So Lorenzo already causing a bit of friction with future teammate Marc Marquez. I can't wait to see that unfold next year. My good friend Alvaro Bautista, top 10 run, finally came to end. He crashed out of 8th place on the 2nd lap of the Aragon Grand Prix. So that's a shame there. But KTM had a strong race with Bradley Smith. Paul Espargaro was injured once again. But the MotoGP race, what an absolute corker that was.
Yeah, it definitely was. You mentioned about Lorenzo, and I don't know where you've gone now.
Here.
It's all right, don't worry. Yeah, Lorenzo then. Is he potentially, do you think he might be causing an issue with Honda? Do you think, with what happened?
Well, I think you know when Valentino Rossi put a wall up in the Yamaha garage about 10 years ago when Lorenzo came into MotoGP? That might well be back up just this time in Honda, because I don't think that Marquez and Lorenzo are getting on at the moment. Lorenzo blows hot and cold with everyone. I'm sure it'll blow over. I'm sure they'll be best of friends by next year. But no, Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez, big fallout, all because of Jorge Lorenzo's crash, which in all fairness, Marquez did have a little bit of influence on, but Jorge was a bit too early on the old right hand there, a bit over exuberant, and down he went on the first lap. Rare error. Jorge Lorenzo, when was the last time he crashed out 2 races on the bounce? In fact, talk amongst yourselves. I shall look.
Oh, off he goes. On the old MotoGP website, researching things.
No, Jorge Lorenzo Wikipedia page is always the easiest one.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Scout in.
Yeah, anyway, so if you know these facts quicker than Kiko, then get in touch with us.
The last time he crashed in back-to-back races was...
both DNFs.
Donington Park and Brno.
Christ.
in 2009. 9 years ago. We won't count races he didn't start, but because he crashed out of the race in the last 3 laps at Misano, he is still classified 17th. He did remount as well, but
okay. So it's not a technical, it's not an actual DNF.
Not technically DNF, did he?
Okay.
At Misano, but no points since his win in Austria. He's been lodged on 130. However, I've just realised now looking at it, 3 poles in the last 3 races for Jorge Lorenzo. I didn't see that coming. When was the last time he did that? Scout once more. Talk
all right.
Talk amongst yourself. Talk amongst yourself.
Whilst you do that, why don't we have a look at Moto 2 and what happened there then?
Yeah, let's have a look. 2012, by the way, last time Lorenzo got 3 poles on the bounce. Aragon, Motegi and Sepang. But I've done stat-zillering at the moment. Moto 2, good race. Brad Binder, again, putting South Africa on the motorsport map. Massive congratulations to him. Saw off Pecco Bagnaia and Lorenzo Baldassarri, completed the podium. Good, hard racing. That's what I'm going to say about that one. Jorge Lorenzo, I got him on the brain now. Brad Binder smoking the opposition, really, in that Aragon Moto 2 race. And I've got to say, very, very impressively holding his own, fighting back when he could. Him and Francesco Bagnaia had a little bit of a coming together. Wasn't nothing too dramatic, though. Bagnaia wasn't too happy with it. But Brad Binder, he stays another year, of course. Don't forget, he's not going up to MotoGP next year like his teammate Miguel Oliveira. I'm telling you, Binder for next year's championship may not be a bad shout. Brad Binder really coming good. Alex Marquez finally didn't make a mistake in the race and bid it. He was fourth. Marcel Schrotter, the German rider, 5th place. Danny Kent, unfortunately, and Sam Lowes, no points for them. Danny Kent had crashed. Sam Lowes ran on, fought back to 21st, I believe, but still out of the points. And Miguel Oliveira, fight back from row 6 when he was 18th on the grid. He finished 7th, but that is an interesting situation on his own. Can Miguel Oliveira still win the Moto2 title if he keeps qualifying badly? It's a tough ask. It really is a tough ask. Some of the circuits we're coming to as well. Phillip Island, maybe get away with it, but everywhere else is a little bit too tight and technical.
And Moto 3?
Moto 3, Jorge Martin, another win for the Spaniard. He has absolutely waltzed off with that one. Waltzed so much so that he is apparently on Strictly Come Dancing this Saturday, so tune in for him there. Marco Bezzecchi, though, he had a good comeback. 18th on the grid to 2nd after the penalty that he inherited. He was originally meant to be 7th on the grid and then pushed back to 19th, a 12th place grid penalty. Horrendous grid penalties in Moto 3, to be fair. All but 2 riders qualified, started the race from a different position to where they qualified. Most of them pushed back, and obviously some riders coming forward. John McPhee, for example, qualified 23rd, started 10th. That was such the incredible penalty scenario we had on
It's almost
Sunday
like an F1 race, to be honest, where like
I'm glad you said the race.
Well, yeah, like it takes a lot away from when you, if you make the effort to, I don't know, watch a qualified, or as a trackside fan, and you've paid a lot of money to be there, and then half of the, I mean, different story if it happened in MotoGP, but if half of the thing that you see on the Saturday is completely just gone for the Sunday, you think that you're being robbed.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
It is. It almost doesn't make it worth having, does it? But then again, if you took riders out of the race, well, they'd say that they'd been conned off the whole weekend. So, swings and roundabouts. But yes, Marcus Leckie back up to 2nd place and 13 points of drifting title now. The gap at the top is 13, but 58 points covers the top 4. So that's a very interesting dynamic, I must say. With 5 rounds to go, Thailand, 5 rounds to go. We are in for a mighty scrap. The championship cannot be won at the next round in any class. Should point that out. So Thailand is still very much an important one. Jaume Masia, top 10 with a broken collarbone. What a ride that was. Sensational stuff. And he was in the leading group for a lot, well, in the battle for second for quite a lot of that. Tatsuki Suzuki and Adam Norridin, great stuff from them as well. They had a great performance. But Nicolo Bulliger back in the points. And John McPhee, qualified 23rd, started 10th, finished 10th. So not all bad for John McPhee, the Scottish rider there. But Jorge Martin, 13-point lead to the top.
I was going to ask whether how soon things can start to be wrapped up, especially in MotoGP and even to a lesser extent BSB. But yeah, MotoGP anyway. I mean, let me have a quick look at the points gap at the moment. That's a lot of points.
It is, but Marquez cannot mathematically win. He can't mathematically win. That's the important bit there.
But if he wins the next, I mean, how many races have we got left to go?
We have 5 races to go, so there's 125 points up for grabs. So after the next one, it will be 100 points up for grabs. I believe the gap is 72. So even if Marquez won and Dobby didn't finish, it would only go up to 97. Therefore, with a slim chance, Marquez would still not be champion, and Andrea Dovizioso could theoretically take it to him, but mathematically versus realistically...
I was the one who said in round 3, I said, oh, he's won this, he's stormed away with it, he's done it,
listen to me, everyone but you, and I'm right again.
Well, I was right when you said that, in that I said, well, not necessarily, because he might just fall off in the next race, and he did.
Yeah. And where's he been since?
Probably where he deserves.
First and second. Solid performances.
More importantly, though, if you disagree with anything that Kiko's said...
Which you don't, because you've got a brain cell.
On the show. Or anything that... or any other things, basically.
Even anything that you say.
I don't... I'm so careful to not even say anything, to be honest. But if you do have any alternative opinions, you can... share them with us, because we don't just like people who agree with us. No, we don't. Although they're good, but we also like to have a nice debate, a nice argument, let's say. And especially if you're outraged at something, let us know. Get in touch this evening. It's at M-Sport Radio on the Twitter. It's Motorsport Radio on Facebook. And wherever you're tuned in, comments box below. Do it. Email as well. We do also have email. It's hello@motorsport.radio. Coming up later on the show, we have an interview, or we'll have a replay of an interview that we had last week, and we republished it with Tom Ward anyway. So if you've not seen that, it's an interesting one. He reveals all about who he thinks will win the BSB title. You might be surprised. Probably not, to be honest. But yeah, a good 5 minutes with Tom Ward at the last BSB round at Alton Park. Plus, as well, highlights from the last Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship at Milton Will as well. So, and then that's where we'll be catching up with Mr. Brad Ray, who's on his own personal bike as well. He brought it along, beeping away. We'll be playing a few minutes from that, from the TDI Media coverage, which you can find out on the TDI Media YouTube page. But for now, though, we will go on and talk about other things. Actually, let's just check about comments as well, because since we've been welcoming comments, we might as well just read them out, I suppose. Patrick McCourt says he agrees. Thank you, Patrick. Josh Warner has been back on and said maybe Moto 3, but that's stopping more talented riders coming up to the class. What was he talking about there? I don't know. Maybe add a bit of context. Maybe like Ari Danny Kent or whatever you're talking about. Just so, because when we go back onto the comments, we're like, what is he? Is it? Oh, that's from earlier.
I should just say, I've got my phone on charge and there's a light on. I don't know if you can tell that I'm a little bit lighter now. And so I can't access the comments. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and open it up on my iMac and hope that it only plays through my headset. Instead of playing out through the main thing. This
happens every single week, and then the loop, like, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realise if you press play,
it starts." Did that come out on the old speaker there?
I've not heard.
Did anything come out?
I don't know.
I hope not. I'm going to go back on the comments there so I can read them.
Talk amongst yourself while Kiko reads your own comments. But anyway, so. I don't know, Miguel Oliveira, you were mentioning about that. It's probably... Let me go back to the points and have a quick look. Points, Oliveira, can do that one. Also Moto 3. And when I say he can do it, catch and pass.
Well, he's not that far behind.
Not that far, it's like 30 odd, 15, 20... I can't count, basically. Leave me alone, stop shaming. Bezecchi and Martin, we just it's just them two, really, in reality, isn't it? If anybody's going to catch Martin, or if anybody's going to mess it up, it is going to be Jorge Martin, isn't it? That's what it's called. Jorge. That's what it's called. But yeah, Bezzecchi, I don't know, to be honest. What do you think? Let us know. Do you have any particular rider that you fancy for the championship in BSB, MotoGP, Moto2 or Moto3 or World Superbikes? Then let us know. It's Motorsport Radio on Facebook, M Sport Radio on the Twitters, and hello and good evening to everyone tuned in around the world.
Absolutely. We should say good evening to Andy Norgate. He's tuned in from last week. I wonder if he's been to sleep yet, actually. Probably. So... yeah, Andy, get your comments in, Andy. We know you had a few off you last week, so you tuned in a bit late last week. But come on, send us something in, and we'll try our best to answer it. Whilst we've got World Superbikes to talk about, have we got to do it?
Oh, is that still on?
Apparently.
I don't know. I ask this every week, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of similar comments along the lines of.
Do we have to talk about it?
Yes. Well, it is still a thing. To be honest. I think it might be time for Dorna to sell World Superbikes to someone like, I don't know, us. We'll sort it out. And
we'll sell it back to them for 4 times the price.
Why the hell not? I mean, they can't be making, maybe they're making a bit of money, but it's just, you can't have a total monopoly on just, come on, guys. Don't be greedy, Dorna. Stop, It's just ridiculous. Anyway, World Superbikes, go on.
World Superbikes. We have the small matter of Jonathan Ray of wrapping up this championship at Magny-Cours.
Oh, has he not done it yet?
He can do it. It's not impossible for him to do that. We have the Kawasaki all-conquering. We have Jonathan Ray, best form of his life. He's just set a new record of wins at 6. We know he can win at Magny-Cours. He did so last year for the first time. Johnny Ray, I'm predicting by the end of play Saturday, will be champion. I personally think he will get it done by the end of race 1. So Jonathan Ray of Northern Ireland has a 116-point lead in this championship. He just needs to score 9 points or more, and he is 9 points more than Chaz Davies, I should say, and he is champion. But of course, it's not the Johnny Ray show. Michael van der Mark and Chaz Davies, that's the big championship battle now. Looking forward for that second place, 20 points between them. Michael van der Mark scored 50 points less than Chaz Davies at this point in the remaining rounds in the last 6 races of last year. But we know that's very different this year. Chaz Davies has not had a podium since Misano. Michael van der Mark was on the podium twice at Portimao. So van der Mark looking to return to the podium, of which he got, of course, as well at Magny-Cours. He was there on the podium last year at Magny-Cours. Alex O's teammate will be looking to come back to the front as well after a difficult Portimao, 10th and 11th. So I don't know what was going on there. That's what you call the highs and lows of motorcycle racing. Ducati will want to win for the first time since Aragon. Now, that was back in, my goodness, April? Back in April,
long
Chaz
time.
Davies last win. That is ridiculously long. So, good God, do they want to get rid of that V-twin and get on the V4, which comes out next year. It's already quicker, apparently, in testing. Honda, hoping for a top 10 return. Leon Cami on the Red Bull Honda, looking to make that work here. Led the race, of course, last year for MV Agusta, looking to do the same if weather allows him to on Saturday and Sunday, although it is a bit dodgy normally. We have clear sunshine down in Magny-Cours. Aprilia will want to back up their first pole position in ages from Eugene Laverty back at Portimao with another pole position at Magny-Cours and hopefully try and do something with that. He lasted 3 corners last time before he was taken out by a wayward Xavi Forés, who will also be looking for a return to the top 6. Loris Baz is hoping it does rain because apparently that will suit his BMW better at the Frenchman's home round. It was when it rained last year that the BMW of Jordi Torres had a terrible time of things. So, don't know what's going to happen apart from Johnny Ray will be champion.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's pretty obvious.
I mean, we've got to talk about Tom Sykes as well. I suppose. He'll want to hold his teammates' charges. They don't get on. It's a bit of a prickly relationship now. And Jordi Torres, we've already mentioned, he's back on the MV Agusta, having done his MotoGP deputising, and he'll be looking to give MV Agusta a bit of a good finish as well. So, yeah, World Superbikes, that is in a nutshell Johnny Ray, the man to beat. But keep an eye out, and I'm not just making a media hype out of this. Second place in the championship is mega important for the manufacturers. If Yamaha can get their rider in Michael van der Mark second in the championship ahead of Chaz Davies, that'll say that Yamaha are back in business properly. Not only are they able to win the odd race, but they're able to launch a consistent championship challenge top championship challenge right the way through the year. That will set them up in good stead for next year, of course, when both riders are back on that bike.
I seen a stat by, I think it might have been the championship itself, on, I think it was something like Twitter, that the last few world championships have all been wrapped up at Magny-Cours, and I think more championships have been won at Magny-Cours than anywhere else in World Superbikes. And I thought, yeah, cool stat.
I think that's true, because I think James Tozen won both of his, 4 and 07 at Magny-Cours. Jonathan Ray, did he win his there last year? Can't quite remember. Slept since then. Yeah, but it makes sense. They probably have.
Yeah.
The last round of 2012 was won there. Max Biaggi beating Tom Sykes by half a point. Makes me wonder, 2012 was the last non-Dorna year. Now, Dorna haven't changed that much, really, straight away. But half a point separate the top two in the championship back then, and there was some pretty fierce racing in 2012. And now we're looking with 5 races to go after the first race on Saturday. The championship could be done and dusted. Unbelievable.
Quite incredible, really, when you think about the dominance. And also, I'm trying desperately to remember who it was who did the name of the guy, the rider, who's been making some sort of vlogs. And he did a one talking about, who was it who said that? Johnny Ray's uncharismatic. Who's the guy?
Gregorio Lavia.
Yeah, him. And he basically did a reply to him while he was just on his bike in, I presume, somewhere in Northern Ireland. I'm presuming, based on his accent. And Johnny Ray, I think, retweeted it, said it was fantastic, and I watched it as well. It was about 10 minutes long, if you get the chance to.
Oh, if you watched it, it must be interesting.
I was bored, but it was actually quite interesting, so well done to you. If you've also seen it, you'll know I'm not crazy. I just forgot the guy's name, and I'm so sorry. But it was just one of them things that came to my mind, anyway. But anyway, with 20 points then, Kiko, separating Davis and van der Mark. Yes, it is 20, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
20 points separating just them. Can van der Mark, by the end of the season, there's still time for him to potentially take second, though, isn't there?
Of course there is. And I think he will, because I just don't think the momentum is with Chaz Davies. I think it's all with Michael van der Mark, to be quite fair. And yeah, I don't see why not. And do you know what? I did a little stat. We've got a World Superbike preview that's going up tomorrow. We've done a British Superbike preview today, World Superbike preview tomorrow. We do it in order of importance. Dorna. There hasn't been a second place rider in the championship who wasn't British. Have a guess when that was, Lester?
2007.
2013. Eugene Laverty, and he's Irish.
Okay.
So, Brits have been dominating for a long time. And if Michael van der Mark can take it to the Brits, now the Dutch market isn't really too bad at the moment. It's quite good. Looking at the attendance for this year, actually, 61,000 went there.
Is that your attendance spreadsheet that you've got?
This is my attendance spreadsheet, 2013 to 2018. It's that time of year again. We've got about World Superbike attendance. Where have we got? Portugal, 50,000 were there this weekend, apparently, in total, but only 24,400 there on the Sunday, which I think is quite an interesting little statistic.
Some say, and some say not. But
just to go off reference of Magny-Cours, last year it was raining, and across the weekend there was 48,000 people there. There was 52,000 people there the weekend before, but over the course of the weekend, they have been going down every year since 2014. So 2014 we had 74,000. 2015 we had 61. 2016 we had 56,000. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get the idea.
2017 48,000. So we're looking at drops of between 5,000 and 8,000 every year. So not good.
Yeah, but let us know your opinions if you have any regarding, and the usual opinions that flood in is generally speaking, anyways, is how to make World Superbikes better, what they should do.
Elephants.
Everyone's an armchair race director or a championship organizer, aren't they? Aren't they, Kiko? Yeah. Basically. So Kiko, if you don't know, Kiko did an article on motorsport.radio, the website, regarding 5 ways to, spice up or bring back or make World Superbikes great again. And,
Donald Trump campaign.
Oh God. But is it gone past that point now where can you actually, is there anything that Dorna can do to actually make it bigger and better and, dare I say, like it used to be?
Yeah.
Could it?
Read my article.
No.
Yes.
What was one of your suggestions? Put elephants in the pit lane and...
My number one suggestion... No, elephants on the track doing track walks.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And have what? Mobile pizzas in the pit lane.
Imola have taken note. Imola has got a pizza restaurant in pit lane. And it works. Imola's one of the highest attending European rounds. Let me get my spreadsheet back up again here.
No, I know Donington has just opened the garage, 39, but I don't think they'll be serving black puddings to riders in pit lane.
Took over. 76,000 people there this year, and their highest attendance on a Sunday.
Okay.
Pizza restaurants are the way forward.
They're not.
In pit lanes.
They're not, because judging by the amount of stuff... Judging by the amount of food that you spill while you're eating food, they're going to have to abandon the race, aren't they? It's going to be Silverstone all over again.
If my girlfriend's watching, you actually back up with that. I went and juggled a whole pizza around at Bella Italia about 3 months back.
There you go. Hello, pizza face. Anyway, yeah.
But you get my point. But exactly. No, my number one point, I've just tried to say it again. Number one point, bring in MotoGP riders. So... Italian round.
Well, what if they don't want to come in?
Field, Valentino Rossi.
You can't make them.
Field, Marco. Pay big money.
Oh, right, okay. Just pay big money and get anyone to do anything.
Back on the map. It's a long-term investment for a one-off ride. People will want to watch it.
Why would they pay big money to literally take their star out of their main product,
to show how good World Superbike riders are on the world stage? Put them on machinery. The best motorcycle. Why potentially have them disgruntled riders who you're playing with their careers because you're saying, right, we have decided you're not going to be racing in MotoGP. We're going to pay big money from somewhere for you to go and race in World. Johnny Ray can't go to MotoGP. Well, Johnny Ray decided he wasn't going to go to MotoGP.
Yeah, but you've just decided that MotoGP people should race there, and
money.
And if they wanted to, they would already be there, wouldn't they?
No, because it's not been thought about before.
Oh, nobody's ever thought about going to World Superbikes. Okay.
No, they haven't. Right. Every single time. Keith Ewan said it in Aragon Grand Prix commentary and qualifying. Alvaro Bautista is the most anticipated arrival in World Superbikes for MotoGP in years. We're talking years. Loris Baz, the bike he went on is not... He was anticipated. The bike we knew wouldn't be up to scratch. Bautista is going to the factory Ducati team. We know he's going to be fast. I just think that if you put Valentino Rossi on a Yamaha R1 and Marc Marquez on a Red Bull Honda, put your 2 big poster boys of MotoGP in World Superbikes, people will go and see that. It's half the price of MotoGP. It's cheaper. It's probably better as well because you're not... fighting with fans to get anywhere because there is no fans. That's the whole point. You've just
been slagging it off though, in saying why it won't.
It's better if you don't like people. Go to a World Superbike event.
If you want a bit of peace and quiet, if you don't want any other support races because they've all been cancelled, then go to World Superbikes. Just pay a bit of money, turn up, get a black pudding thrown at you, and
black skin cannons on the start and finish straight at Donington Park. That's what you want. You need it to be unique.
Black pudding cannons.
When you suggested that to me, actually taking a mix, I'll just put it out there. So I did thieve your idea, actually, just then. We know how you like a good black pudding.
I was just taking the piss, to be honest. Hello to Carol Armstrong, who says hello. Probably just joined us at the complete wrong point of any show where we just been suggesting about black pudding cannons is a way to spice up World Superbikes. But actually, getting onto a serious point regarding Rossi and maybe World Superbikes, his disastrous qualifying at the last race. A lot of people on Twitter that I noticed while I was busy elsewhere scrolling around were heartbroken in that he qualified so low down. It was like, what was it, 15th or 18th or something like that?
Wait, who are we on about? Sorry,
Rossi. Oh, sorry. Was you just busy doing something else?
I was busy reading comments, yes. Rather than saying Rossi, yeah, a lot of people outraged, actually.
Yes, was my point.
By his qualifying.
Hey, if I'm not talking, if I'm not listening to myself, then why bother listening to anyone else?
Me.
Anyway, so yeah, Rossi, is he past it? Should he do a year in World Superbikes just as a goodbye? Just to prove that he can actually be the best.
Yeah, I don't think that'd do the World Superbikes any harm at all.
Yeah, just like when a footballer in his last season maybe goes to play in like his childhood favourite team in like League Two or whatever it's called now, or like the lower leagues, just before he actually just retires. Something like that. That'd be good to see, I think, maybe.
Who knows? Hopefully Valentino Rossi can relocate to England. The government will turn away his tax avoidance from 2007, and we can get him and his
I know where this is going, and we'll move on.
No, to have a kid, and then we can commentate on his kid in Cool Fab.
Okay.
And then he'll be a Cool Fab racing parent, and people will flock to see him.
Carol Armstrong comes up with a good suggestion.
That we move on.
That we completely ignore what you just said. She says, put world sidecars back with the World Superbikes, because they used to be a good thing.
Yeah, FIM World Sidecar Championship.
Yeah, which for some inexplicable reason are just over there somewhere.
Right, so here we go. Shane Astley has said World Superbike should either race both races on a Sunday or 3 race weekends. I'm glad you said
that before.
Because World Superbikes are taking note of that, I should say. Why have I gone all dark?
It's all about me. Anyway.
Sorry. No, World Superbikes are considering 3 races across the weekend because the British round at Donington Park is in jeopardy.
Have a Super Sunday where you have all your races on a Sunday and have it just simplify it. Just simplify it for everyone's sake.
It doesn't make sense, does it? It really doesn't. We've got other comments coming in. Right. Gary Farquharson always thought World Superbike should be backed more by the manufacturers as they're the bikes that are on the roads which we buy tomorrow. Yes, in a way, but again...
BSB's bigger though, isn't it? It's
World Superbikes was founded on the principle of privateer teams. Apart from Ducati, and then when Kawasaki joined, Kawasaki. Hence why they're the only 2 factory teams in it still now. They were the only 2 factory teams in the 90s in the golden era. And
you can't really see manufacturers maybe prioritising World Superbikes just because, as what was said, it's all basically road bikes, isn't it? When you've got BSB, which is arguably a bigger championship than the World Superbikes, why not just put your resources into BSB?
But it just shows how good BSB promoters are. They know how to promote the show.
That's what we need. Should we just give World Superbikes to MSV or MSVR and have them do it properly?
Brilliant idea. Solved every issue.
Done it. There we go.
We're not even joking either.
No, serious.
It would be sorted out. Donington Park. Look at the improvement Donington Park has just had. You were there. Tell us about your experience with the Formula Nobody Cares 3000 or whatever it was.
It was the final of the British GT Championship, and it was Billy Monger got a pole position. Everyone knows Billy Monger. If you don't, then I'm not going to explain it. But yeah, Billy Monger was there, and I was there at the weekend. But yeah, it was a huge testament now to all the staff and especially the vision that MSVR and MSV have. For improving their circuits, because when they do it, when they make upgrades to their circuits, we just sort of take it in our stride and we just take it for granted that that's how race circuits should be, and we instantly forget. I do anyway. Instantly forget at how bad facilities were before MSVR took over, for example, and now we have an almost uniform. high level of standard across facilities at racetracks, paddock services, whereas we go to in BSB, I mean, well, in let's say other non-BSB championships, like, I don't know, I'm not going to name and shame anyway, but other paddocks, other non-MSV owned racetracks, for example, who don't necessarily have all those facilities. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it was the obvious thing for them to do to get Donington, for example. And I do genuinely think if MSVR ran World Superbikes, it would be
a show.
It would be, yeah. I mean, wow. Imagine the possibilities that they could do with that. Probably never happen, because why would Dorna want to give it to MSVR so they could rival their own thing? But just imagine, that would be a good idea. I think we've actually just solved World Superbikes. I think we've actually done a thing.
I've been saying it for years.
No, I said it just then.
Oh, always sponging.
Just then, I said it.
Sponge.
Anyway,
shall we move on?
Yeah, we will move on and to talk about some rumours in just a moment. Because, first of all, coming up in October and November, we are launching the very first ever Motorsport Awards. And the Motorsport Awards are going to be one of the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest award categories, and it is just amazing to see the amount of interest already in the awards categories, and it spans not just the drivers and riders and the big categories that you'd obviously expect to see in there, but also it rewards the industry, the motorsport industry, because, well, we were thinking, well, exactly how can we do this and do it right and not just focus on things like who had the most spectacular crashes from a fan point of view, or things like that, or who had the most amazing races, or who had the best whatever. Those categories are in there, obviously, but there's lots of industry awards as well. Something for, like, best, I don't know, well, forget the awards at the top of my head anyway, but some of the awards categories are, and let's have a quick listen. Driver of the Year. Obviously, that's going to be a thing. We've got the Rider of the Year. And, well, that could be absolutely anybody in any category in any part of the world. I'm sure you have some opinions on that. Team of the Year. Open to any person, any team, in any championship, anywhere. And it's the Young Rider of the Year. Big interest for Cool Fab Racing riders. Young Driver of the Year. I'm sure you don't really care much about that. But the best battle in a race. Again, this could be absolutely any person, anywhere, in any race. And you get to decide who wins it, basically. So it's all fantastic stuff. And also, as well, then other categories, the best race of the year, as well as the best championship, the best race car that goes on. We've thought about adding the best race bike. Why not? It's only fair. The best club series. Who might win that best club series? The best racing club of the year. Will it go to someone like MSVR, or the most underrated? What exactly? Most underrated anything. And the best maybe new championship of the year. All categories on the Motorsport Awards. And you can nominate who you think should be in title contention for a Motorsport Award from Monday. And, well, some of the biggest, most obvious ones, Kiko, I'm sure we can all just reel off a big list of who we think should be eligible to win what straight away. But there are some kind of categories that will make you think. Now, the first round of the Motorsport Awards is all about nominating who you want to be in that final, which officially opens in November, lasts for a month. So we're just taking, from Monday, we're taking suggestions, basically, as to who should make the final list, because we know hundreds of people are going to get in touch with us, if judging by the, if I can speak, judging by the
best orator of the year.
Not me. Best chef of the year, that could have been a thing as well. Yes. We know who we could be.
Won't be going to.
But literally anything. How do you do your nominations? Well, they all open from, I think it's 8 p.m. or midday on Monday, the 1st of October. Head to motorsportawards.com. That's motorsportawards.com. Kiko, name 3 people who you would pick out right now if you were deciding. Kiko is a judge, by the way, on the Motorsport Awards. But just in
I am away at the time. I should just add that bit.
Yeah, you do still get to have your say, though.
I do.
But just pick out, though, just for argument's sake, 3 riders who you think would be the best rider in contention to win a Motorsport Award.
Oh, well, of course, all world champions.
Anyone, anywhere.
Best rider of the year, Marc Marquez would be in for one.
You have to, yeah.
Wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh dear, Kiko's broken up.
Then you've got
who was the second one you broke up?
Oh, have we frozen?
No, you frozen.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
You frozen.
Are we here now?
Yeah.
Can you see me? Because I'm lagging here. I think we're back. I think we're normal. I'm lagging.
Shall I just do the rest of the show on my own?
May as well. I think that's probably the safer bet.
Turn whatever you turned on. Turn it off.
Marc Marquez for an award. You got to choose on. You got to go Johnny Ray. The way his season's been is phenomenal. Don't know who the third one would be, because we've got Young Rider of the Year, haven't we? We got
there's a category for Young Rider of the Year as well.
So we can't say any of the Cool Fab riders because they'd all be funneled into that. Really.
You can still nominate them if you feel like they are going to be better or as good as people like Marc Marquez.
You'd have to put Ryan Vickers actually in the category for Rider of the Year, because what he's doing is quite sensational.
Oh, what he's done?
Well, yeah, wrapped the title up already.
Yeah, 9
wins.
Okay, and we're not saying that those 3 are necessarily in the final, but I just since I put him on the spot, but it's just to get people talking, really. The official nomination phase opens, like I said, on Monday. Check it out on motorsportawards.com. We'll keep you up to date, and we will regularly promote spam all over the place. Exactly how you can get in touch and make your suggestions. So attention, riders and family of riders as well, or maybe if you're involved in a race team as well, and maybe you want to have a cheeky nomination towards yourself.
We've already got one from Andy Norgate. He says Anna Carrasco. How can we forget that?
We didn't.
Looking like the first female FIM champion of a solo class.
And by the way, before anybody asks, and it was a question that I asked myself, is why don't we have a specific female driver or rider category?
No.
It's because we judge everybody the same, and we don't have any specific criteria. We don't treat female drivers and riders differently, because that's patronising. No. And that's why, before you ask.
Let's be honest, people going about the inequality in our sport and all this and that, and, you know, our Formula One's gone down the PC world route of, you know, banning females who want to do things.
Yes.
Can I just make a point? Motorsport, probably the only sport in the world where men and women compete in the same class.
Exactly. So, there you go.
So, Formula One.
Yeah, and there was a championship winner in the British GT Championship at the weekend with Flick Haig. She won the main national British GT Championship, so well done her.
Jamie Chadwick's been a winner as well.
Yeah, she's won the
Anna Carrasco's been doing well.
Exactly. So
there's been a lot of females doing very well. Rachel Stringer, part of the Eurosport team, of course, BSB, even in other forms, not even racing, more and more in there.
Yeah, and there is also a category as well, Kiko. You might be interested to know for best commentator or commentator of the year. And no,
I won't be in that one.
You won't be able to be eligible since you've been involved in the show. Although, if you do know, by the way, if anyone listening now has any suggestions for who might be the who you think should win the Commentator of the Year award. Yeah, best.
Who's going to be the best common spud of the year?
So let us know. There's just for fun, because the official Motorsport Awards, registered trademark, opens on Monday. Check it out on the 1st of October.
You do have a way of words.
Excuse me. Anyway, so right, moving on then. So this is the Superbike Show. My name is Lester. Kiko Giles is here. If this is your first ever experience of Motorsport Radio, well, hopefully we've turned. Hopefully you're still with us anyway. But yeah, we do talk about other things as well, not just about various ways to talk and make World Superbikes great with black pudding cannons and elephants roaming down pit lane. But We will talk BSB very shortly. But before
that,
rumours about what?
We've got rumours about a potential return. We broke some news last week. Northern Ireland isn't going ahead for World Superbikes. We've got possibly Brno not coming back on the calendar for World Superbikes. But good news! World Superbikes is not going to be carrying on in a horizontal line across the world. It may well go to South Africa. Rumour has it that in 2019, Kyle Army will be back on the World Superbike calendar. It's been revamped, it has been improved, upgraded, it meets the safety criteria for World Superbikes. They may well be going to the Rainbow Nation next year, and that'll be fantastic for them. I've been saying it for the last 2 or 3 years. Go to Kyle Army. It's going to be the only round in Africa as a continent, one of the biggest continents, if not the biggest continent in the world. Brilliant if we go. I really hope that we get a South African round. It should be there anyway, back on the calendar. Good stuff all round, really. And I know a couple of South Africans that will be mega, mega happy with that if that does pull off. Bjorn Esment being one of them, said to him in an interview last year, I asked him how does he feel if we get a South African round. He said it'd be brilliant, whether it's World Superbikes or MotoGP, because the following in South Africa is so big down there. So hopefully we'll see a South African World Superbike round. Tom Sykes, will he or won't he stay in World Superbikes? Well, if he does stay in World Superbikes, we're hearing his offers on the table from Red Bull, Honda and Milwaukee Aprilia. If he doesn't stay in World Superbikes, we're hearing that he has an offer from Paul Bird Motorsport in British Superbikes. Now,
is that a rumour?
I actually do not know
if
that is true. I knew the Jake Dixon thing was going to happen. I don't know if the Tom Sykes thing is going to happen. Ear to the ground at Aston this weekend for me. But Marco Melandri may well be moving teams in World Superbikes to the GRT Yamaha team, which are currently in World Supersport but are talking about coming up to World Superbikes, and apparently Marco Melandri would be their first choice in rider, so good stuff there. We are still unsure on whether Scott Redding's coming over to the British Isles for the British Superbike Championship at Pearl Bird Motorsport Ducati.
Probably will.
I hope he is. But BSB
he had a bit of character.
He's got, do you know what? We said it last week, 30 years too late in motorcycle racing, but my goodness, would he be loved over here. Ben Curry or Josh Brooks are the rumoured riders to be Glenn Irwin's teammate, but of course we do not know that. It's pure speculation. But yeah, not too many rumours really at all, but good ones, meaty ones.
Meaty rumours is the thing that we're going with, and we said, I think we did actually mention, I'll touch upon briefly about the possibility of Ben Curry going to Bournemouth Kawasaki and that current JG Speedfit named team. I say current because that's another rumour. But who knows? Maybe they don't even know themselves. Whoever knows? Kiko, you will be at Assen this weekend investigating.
I will.
And investigating
there on the Sunday.
Who's got the free food and where it is.
I know where it's going.
That's all
don't need to look far. Follow the moves.
But yeah, if you're tuned in right now, you are a rider or you're involved with the team and you want to send us a secret message, if you've got Kiko's details, then contact him directly.
Kiko at motorsport.media.
Yeah, or you can just send us to the studio directly a private message. It's hello@motorsport.radio. And we will take on board your comments, not necessarily at face value, because we know that some people don't often tell the truth. But we will certainly respect your privacy anyway. And it'll be good for. I think it'd be good to have a bit of big breaking news. Like we've had a lot of big breaking news on the show this year.
We had a lot of bad breaking news as well, unfortunately.
Bad breaking news, but. Let's keep it. I don't know. Let's focus on the good breaking news, i.e., rider announcements and team dramas and stuff. And that would be interesting to see. Talking about Kailami though, and I don't want to keep on having to go back to this subject time and time again. But is Kailami maybe a thing that will enhance the World Superbike Championship?
Don't want to stay on this too long, so I'm going to give a really short answer. Yes, it absolutely will. Another market, another part of the world, another continent's going to be recognised for World Superbikes. What more do you want? Kyle Lime is a fantastic track. It's been used before, can be used again. So my phone is high-sided out of shot there. If you're wondering what that was, it wasn't coming from me. But yeah, Kyle Lime will be brilliant for World Superbikes. Hopefully a couple of fast wildcards as well. The Binders, if you're watching, maybe even Bjorn Esmond have run out on the Super Sport bike if ever could be feeling so very generous indeed. I don't think I'll be camping with them though that weekend.
Are you all right?
I am fine. I'm just rearranging my dog and bone. I don't know why it keeps falling over. Let's check what charge it's on. Oh, it's on 70%. I'll take it off charge and then it should be all right.
Apologies for insulting your ears if you're listening in the audio version of this. You can just hear Kiko rattling about. So professional. But anyway, let us know your thoughts about Kyle Lamy, about the rumours. If you know anything that we've not mentioned, that means probably we don't know about it, then get in touch. We would obviously love to know any hot gossip. If you can back it up with, I don't know, a bit of facts as well. Maybe even a source. You know, you've heard so-and-so in the paddock saying that. You'll be... yeah, that sort of thing. It's basically what happens, really. Over a pint or three. Or, you know, so-and-so's heard about Thingy's quitting and leaving, and then he's coming back, and then the amount of things that we heard at Alton Park.
About one team in particular.
Yeah, there's like 30 different riders just for you know, one particular team. But anyway, moving on, because we will get back to BSB in a short while. For now, though, an interview that you did at Alton Park, Kiko.
Ooh, Tom Ward, yes. National Superstock 1000 rider, had a fairly good season with Martin Housel's Marino.com Housel Racing Suzuki team. He isn't at Assen. He's in a lake in Italy. I think you pronounce it Iseo. Iseo.
Oh, Iseo.
Not sure. Yeah, Iseo, right. But Tom Ward not here this weekend at Assen. We played you his interview from last weekend, and we're going to play it again just for the sake of it. Here it is.
Tom Ward, National Superstock 1000 rookie in 2018. Fair to say you've had a decent season since Snetterton, 2 top 10s this year, including one here at Alton Park. Assess it from your angle. How's your year been to you?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, to be honest, it's been a bit of a learning year, as it was always going to be. You know, I've never been on 1000 before, so it's going to be difficult, like adapting your riding style, that kind of thing. You don't think at first you've really got to change a lot, but once you get on the bike and you're out on track with other riders, it's such a physical thing to change your riding style. Yeah, it was always going to be a slow start. We got built up and got like a really good base setting, and then from Snetterton I started getting good results. It was just again just learning things as we went. Brands had a really good result, really pleased with that, and then went to Cadwell, had another really good result. And then this weekend hasn't been great, and Silverstone hasn't been great, but we can't really put our finger on what it was. It's just one of them things, unfortunately. If you don't get on with a track or your bike doesn't feel quite right, if you don't gel with it, you don't want to go pushing on. So, yeah, overall it's been really good so far, yeah.
How's it been in the Housel Racing team? There's been a couple of changes on the other side of the garage, but you've dealt with them quite well, you've stayed focused. How has it been in the team? Because Colin Wright's also come in this year as well. Yeah,
to be honest, it was a bit of it's always weird because I'm obviously good friends with Tommy, so we got introduced through the team, so that was it's quite nice to have like an involvement in that, being involved in a rider as good as Tommy is and having as much experience is kind of really good to help me along at the beginning. And it was obviously difficult when he went away from the team and whatever happened, but it's one of them things, and he got on with it just as everyone else did. I've obviously raced with Chrissy for years and years. We were really good friends, so that worked really well. And again with Tom as well, it's been good just purely because we get on so well, and it's a racing family. Everyone gets on, and I don't really have any rivals in this paddock or anything. It's a dangerous sport as it is, and you go out there and just enjoy riding a bike, really. So,
looking towards the end of the season, where would you like to be? You go back to Brands GP, a circuit you was as high as 6th at one point in the summer round. Where would you like to finish this season? What position are you looking to achieve? Another top 10 obviously is where you're looking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always struggled in the wet, and this weekend, even though the results didn't look at first and people probably thought I was running around at the back again, I made big improvements and actually kind of got my confidence back as well. So if it's wet or dry at Brands, I think we've got a really good setting now for both. And obviously the aim is always to win, but the boys who we're racing against, they're all champions. They've been in this class and other classes and stuff like that. So I would love to get on the podium. That would be great. But realistically, if I can get a top 6, top 5, I'll be really happy with that, to be honest.
You're good friends with Bradley Ray. How has his season been from your perspective? And be kind.
Yeah, I think it's Brad. It's Brad. You can't really say a lot more, to be honest, but he's a bloody good rider. He's just one of the most naturally talented people I've ever met, just in anything. I'm not saying that because he's my friend or whatever, but he's annoying, because usually I like to class myself as all right at most things, but you sort of do anything with him and he just puts you to shame. So, but yeah, he's had a good season. I think, again, it's his second year on that bike, his second year on a Superbike. For what he's doing is incredible, really. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is, well, I almost can be sure he'll be in the top 6.
Play safe. Yeah. Looking back finally now to 2019 for you, where do you see yourself moving to? It's a bit of a surprise move, you coming up to Stock 1000 with Halsall, because they weren't a Stock 1000 team. Are you looking to stay with them? Maybe move up to the Superbike? What's the options for next year?
To be honest, I was originally meant to ride the Supersport bike, the bike that Carl's on, but obviously with Suzuki being the manufacturer in the Superbike, it would have been a bit of a clash having a Yamaha, and then the Suzuki isn't quite as competitive in 600, so we kind of said we'll go to Stock 1000s. At first I wasn't quite sure about it, but I'm actually really pleased I've made the change, because getting on a bigger bike is definitely a better thing to do. But in all fairness, I haven't spoken to Colin or Martin about anything to do with next year yet, so I don't know what if they've got a plan for if they want me to be on the Stock 1000 or Superbike. I don't know. We're a bit in the dark with that at the minute, so maybe we'll have some conversations. If I get some good results at the end, then hopefully they'll be more inclined to keep me on. And so
finally, again, continue your good friends with Bradley Ray, who's going to win the British Superbike Championship?
I don't know, really. It's a hard one. They're all so good. I would love Brad to win it, because I think he deserved it and he's a bloody good rider. But I mean, Dixon's so strong as well. You've got Brooks. I mean, all of them, you can say every single one of them is looking good, and it all depends on weather conditions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all up in the air for me, but I would say Brad. It's got to be Brad.
Tom, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Motorsport Radio, the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Tom Wall talking to Kiko Giles a couple of weeks ago, and it's another. It's always worth having a watch and getting people's opinions, even though you might have already seen it last week on the show. But yeah, he's a good lad, is Tom, and he will be, I think, maybe looking to stay at the team for next year.
I hope so. In that class, at least.
Yeah, he certainly wouldn't be in a bad place if he stayed where he is, I would say, with the right people, however you define that. I don't know. I know there's been a lot of...
You on a spade?
A lot of controversy, as you know yourself.
On a spade?
No, I'm fine.
Colin,
hi, Colin, if you tuned in. But right, anyway, so just getting on to other people's comments, which are flooded in. Andy Norgate asks, where's Collier going next year?
Oh, don't know. I've got greyhounds myself.
Don't know, Andy. We don't know. Do you know?
Don't know. I'd like to see him stay where he is, to be fair.
Okay.
I would like to see him stay at EHA Racing Aprilia. I think he's had a very good season, consistent season, and if you just get a couple more good rides next year, I think, championship challenge like he's been all the way up until a couple of unforced errors, maybe halfway through the season. But no, Joe Colley, it'd be good to see him. Yeah, good to see him stay where he is, because he's a very fast rider, Joe Colley.
Gary's been on. Not even going to try and pronounce your last name. Sorry, Gary. But he mentioned...
Larson.
Yeah. I would have been. I don't know. Hello, anyway, Gary. It says Sykes and Redding going to Paul Bird, which is a popular rumour.
Can you confirm it's a rumour?
It is definitely a rumour that we know is being rumoured to happen. But at the moment, it is just a rumour, albeit a very hot rumour. Also, Carol Armstrong, regarding the Motorsport Awards, and in particular, Commentator of the Year, she says, I love Jack Bernicle. I don't know if she was actually referring to our Motorsport Awards thing. She might have just chipped in with, I love Jack Bernicle.
Maybe she thinks I'm Jack Bernacle, which I hope not, because I don't sound anything like him, and or look like him actually. For that stranger, maybe she thinks you're Jack Bernacle. You could pull off Jack Bernacle.
No, I'm too fat for the Jack Bernacle.
And you're not tall enough either, because you look taller on radio.
He's not that tall. Although people, anyone who happens to have seen me mooching around in the paddock will have realised that I am actually 6'3". Carol also chimes in with, I think she's suggesting the young rider of the year as well.
Harry Lee.
She suggested Harry Lee, who I think is doing, what's he doing at the moment? Thundersport or something? What is he doing at the moment? Not too sure, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure that Harry Lee was a Cool Fab rider at one point.
Carol Armstrong's just clarifying that she doesn't think I look like Jack Bernacle. She just replied. Thank you.
He makes as many mistakes as Anyway, no offence, Jack.
I was going to say, who are you offending there? Good evening to Stuart Everard, joining us at the international audience from Assen. I think he is. I'm not sure if he is there. I know the team are, the Everquit Racing team, headed out. They had a bit of a press launch at, I think you say, Hamer. I don't know what they are. I think they're a technology company of some description. Both bikes on display there. It's always a big round for the Everquip team at Assen, because there are a lot of Everquip businesses in Holland. So, good stuff all around. Carol Armstrong again, just confirming Harry Lee is doing Thundersport indeed. You're right, Les.
There you go. Harry Lee doing Thundersport, and former Cool Fab Racing rider as well, I believe. And talking about Cool Fab Racing, as if by magic, let's have a quick look back now at, and I mean a quick look back, because we don't have much time, because question time's on in about an hour and a half. Anyway, so Harry...
This week about Joanna Lumley's Silk Road Adventure. I've got to watch episode 3. Oh, no.
Harry Lee, by the way, who was a Cool Fab rider, and talking about the most recent round in Cool Fab, which was at Milton Will, as Dan Marr called it, the racing commentator. But it did feature, amongst other categories, some of the other youngsters. There's a Pit Bike 140, a Moto Team race, which many of our regular listeners actually ride in.
Glaswegian.
Thank you. But also, race number 1 of the weekend, race 1 of 3 of the weekend, contained Mr. Brad Ray on his own bike.
We get underway. Still with the horn, Bradley Ray is insatiable. The red lights are on now. We're underway, and a good start for Charlie Nesbitt. Should just about get himself into the race lead for the first time out of, this is going to be a 12-lap race. So into the lead goes Charlie Nesbitt, being followed quite closely. And it's side by side for the race lead. Can't quite see who it is. Into turn 3 for the first time. Bradley Ray lost out a couple of positions. Probably should have had his dealings on the clutch rather than the horn, but that's dropped him down into further few positions. We'll make it up in no time, I doubt. But 2 riders going over the grass, both trying to fight for the race lead. It's definitely Charlie Nesbitt in there, but Max Cook also getting well and truly involved. Those 2 race all over the world with each other, so is undoubtedly Wilton Mill a bit closer to home than they might expect, but they are 1 and 2. Got one rider who's pulled off at turn 6. The bike looks like it's not running, so they're just trying to restart the bike. Yellow flags there for the time being. They're all heading over the line now, and that is in a battle with Max Cook and Charlie Nesbitt for the race lead. They're side by side once again, though, so close as they head into turns 2, and again they're side by side. There's almost no stopping them overtaking. It's every single corner at the moment, Kiko.
Max Cook at the moment giving chase to Spud Nesbitt. Nesbitt out in the lead of this. Will we see Max Cook take the lead back? He's building through turn 7 now, through the left-hander, down into another left-hander, harder braking area at turn 8, flick it right, get the drive out of turn 9 now, side by side. Max Cook's going a long way around, doesn't quite make it, throws Nesbitt in early and out wide. Max Cook's going to try and get the drive to the long right-hander that ends this lap. They are still neck and neck, absolutely head to toe, come across the line, and it is still Nesbitt ahead
And the race continued like that, much in the same fashion, with Brad Ray not out in front, dominating on his own personal bike, I should say. These pictures being filmed brilliantly by TDI Media, which you can watch in full on the TDI Media YouTube channel. You might already recognise some of the names, especially Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook. Max Cook racing this weekend at, I think he's racing this weekend at Assen in the British Talent Cup, anyway, because Talent Cup are there.
Enjoying a good one as well, was 27 hundredths over the line the last time, was the gap between Claridge
So we've fast-forwarded to the end of the race.
Ahead by half a second, so Harvey Claridge up to 4th place and 3rd in class, of course. Will Harris enjoying a great one in 3rd place again.
And it's a titanic battle up at the front.
That is for 5th place, so across the line, Elliot Dufton moves into the top 5. It's neck and neck though at the front. Charlie Nesbitt with a lap to go now. He's leading this, but only just from Max Cook so far. Your leaders are coming through the double apex right-handers that end this lap. They are on to their last lap, and traffic galore for those two. They were already encountering it at turn 1. Oh, it's got in the way, and Max Cook has had to go wide and almost put in the barriers. Max Cook has been robbed of a chance to win this race. There was some moto team traffic in the way, couldn't get past, and this time Charlie Nesbitt has he now got this race, unless of course there is more traffic, which there is, but I'm not sure whether they'll catch it in time. Charlie Nesbitt will hold.
Wait for it.
He doesn't have to. It doesn't look like they will, but Max Cook at the moment just hasn't got a response for Charlie Nesbitt. We've been robbed. Oh, Charlie Nesbitt's gone down. I can hardly believe it. Charlie Nesbitt has gone and launched in a Keelia. Max Cook will hardly be able to believe it. Massive crash for Nesbitt down at turn 9. Max Cook can't believe his luck. Checkered flag, and that is incredible. Max Cook has taken a win here in the most extraordinary
big high side as well, that one.
Massive crash. I hope Nesbitt's okay.
He was okay.
Nesbitt was leading that race right up until
Not at the time,
end.
though.
And there has been
He was a bit stunned because that happened on the last sector of the last lap. Kiko, once again, Kiko, jinxing a rider out in front.
Jamie King and
I don't know what to say.
Will Harris has taken the flag.
Yeah, you got a bit of a getting a bit more than a bit of a reputation for doing that, and Max Cook taking the victory in race number 1 at Cool Fab Racing as a bemused Charlie Nesbitt looks on. And more from TDI Media as brilliant coverage of the Cool Fab Racing British Minibikes Championship over on the YouTube channel. And yeah, the next round at Tattershall, the final round of 2018, happening next week, is it? At Tattershall in Lincolnshire. And that's where the awards...
It's scheduled in.
Yeah, I don't know it to be honest. It's that time of the year where everything's just all over the place. But yeah, so the final round of Cool Fab Racing, and many of the best Cool Fab Racing riders also racing, as I mentioned earlier, in the British Talent Cup this weekend over at Assen. And were they there last year? I don't think they were racing at Assen. So this is, I think, am I right? Maybe I'm making it up. I don't know. Is this going to be the first time British Talent Cup is racing at Assen?
Yes, I believe so. They had round at Donington Park at the start of the year with BSB. They had
World Superbikes,
Snetterton BSB, the only race to go away at the cancelled Silverstone Grand Prix, and yeah, this one, and I think they've got Valencia at the end of the year, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they've got one final round in Spain, and riders like Max Cook as well, and
will be in the Junior World Championship.
Yes.
Which returns this weekend. Jerez.
Yes, indeed. I've actually I've been digging away and found the if you've not been keeping up to date, by the way, on the championship standings in the British Talent Cup, it's Thomas Strudwick out in front at the moment by just 4 points from Rory Skinner. Max Cook, as we just heard from there, who won that race, rather surprisingly, is 3rd at the moment. Josh Watley, who we had on the show last week, is in 4th in the championship. Also Brian Hart, Scott Ogden, Cam Horsman, and Jack Nixon, Storm Stacey, and there's lots of big names for the future racing right now in the British Talent Cup, which is on the road to MotoGP, as is Cool Fab Racing as well. And you can hear exclusive live radio commentary of the final round of Cool Fab Racing on this here Motorsport Radio as well. So, and that nicely leads us on to Cool Fab Racing's official partner series, or its main senior partner.
Parent
series. BSB, yes, was the word I was looking for. Because, BSB at Assen this weekend, and Kiko's going to be there. Watch out, Assen. Watch out, Europe.
Yeah. You're a skeptic on his way.
and that was BSB from Assen. And
that's all we got time for tonight. No, well, where do we start? Leon Haslam, that'd be a good place to start. Leads the championship by 30 points. Can mathematically win it this weekend if Jake Dixon doesn't score 7 points and Leon Haslam wins both races.
I would say let's hope we don't. Not because we don't want him to win.
It's going to,
but because we want what the showdown was set up and designed to do. Basically, we want an actual final Brands Hatch showdown in a couple of weeks' time. So let's just hope that Haslam.
Are we on location for that one?
No idea yet, to be honest. I
definitely will be. You're not sure though.
I don't know.
Moving on, Josh Brooks, Glenn Irwin, Brad Ray and Peter Hickman, they're in a big scrap for third place in the championship. They've all still got mathematical chances of winning it, but that's about it. Realistic chances are not very high up, I must say. But again, takes a disaster for Leon Haslam and maybe a bit of a disaster for Jake Dixon. Good results from Josh Brooks, and Josh is right back in the championship. And don't forget, last year didn't look like he was going to win it. He came within 3 points of the championship last year, coming out of the final round, having been over 30 points off it.
Is he a bit too far back, though? I mean, him and Glenn Irwin on the same point.
He is this year. I think he is this year. But again, we'll soon see after Assen. Keep your eyes on Jason O'Halloran and Tommy Bridewell. Both could be big spoilers, especially Tommy Bridewell. His Alton Park performance was absolutely outstanding. I couldn't have been happier for the Motor Rapido Ducati team. Keep your eyes also on Gino Ria, because Gino Ria has been to Assen many times before, won round there. So, yeah, I think Gino Ria may well be, maybe not a front runner, but I definitely think
a top 10er.
Top 10, maybe top 6. We just do not know. It's a track that the Suzuki has won at before. He got its first win in Britain.
And Josh Elliott had a
Josh Elliott's on the bike as
incident previously.
Yes, that notorious Tyco BMW incident. We don't know what save he's planning yet. He hasn't informed us the script. We said that last week. He's still running late with it, unfortunately. But no, the AMG Suzukis may well be all conquering this weekend again. So be good to see Gino Ria up the sharp end, hopefully.
Do you know what? It will be interesting.
And don't forget, Ray Stringer was working with Sylvain Guintoli last year, and Sylvain Guintoli won Assen, so we just don't know what will happen.
Interesting. Yeah, I would love to see just how well Josh Elliott goes on the. It's. I think it's not exactly the same exact spec bike, is it?
No.
Am I right in saying that? As Gino Ria, but if he can literally just dive on that bike and
I think it's the same spec, but it hasn't been the same spec. It belongs to someone else.
Yeah, it was an actual road bike which has been
electronically enhanced, and they've got to strip all that off, make it so it's BSB spec. But I think they've got it all sorted.
Basically, whatever they do to it. From a competition point of view, on track, wouldn't it be just amazing to see Josh Elliott competing and seeing
at the front.
Up at the front with Gino Ria, but just to see, because it's the first time, I mean, for all of the season, I mean, Gino's really been on his own. He's had no other teammate to compare, not like for like in the same category, has he? He's had no real teammate up at the front.
There's been no comparable data. Sometimes having two bikes can really help you with data. Other times completely throw you the wrong way. So we'll see how that goes. But I really do think OMG could well be in with a decent result this weekend. Again, very similar to Silverstone. Gino has been there before. many times in Aston's case. 11th, I think he's been at Grand Prix level, so he definitely knows his way around. Should just point out as well that, we make no... we're not going to hide away the fact we do the team's PR for them.
Well, Motorsport Media does.
Motorsport Media do. We enjoy doing that. And I was on a flight back from Bologna 3 weeks ago now, after the Misano Grand Prix, and I was sat next to someone who we met actually in the paddock, which is quite strange enough, on the Sunday, Lester.
Bike friend!
And he said to me on the flight that OMG Suzuki looks absolutely stunning before I even said anything about me doing the team's PR. So OMG Suzuki definitely got the branding right. That is for certain. So
I think sometimes we forget, though, that people can actually watch the show and just hear what we're saying.
Absolutely.
So you might watch the show.
Absolutely, and true, very true. But don't forget also, we won't go on about it too much, we're a little bit short on time, but it is the Fly OMG event this weekend. First for British Superbike Motorsports, I suppose. A foreign trip out to Masters. That'll be brilliant, I'm sure, and I will inform you of how that goes, actually. But moving on, Danny Buchan, Richard Cooper, Taryn McKenzie, they are all in with a chance of a podium, and I think in Taryn McKenzie's position, a win. I don't think that's too far out of the question. Qualifying will be essential at Assen for one reason, and that is because the Strubben, turn 4, very horrible turn 4 hairpin. You've got to be up the front end and out of any trouble to make sure you do not get caught up in any trouble in the mid-pack. It is going to be shenanigans if you are bumping and barging your way through, especially fast riders coming from back. If Leon Haslam has another qualifying disaster like he had at Alton Park, he might not get through cleanly.
Although he got... Haslam, from his qualifying issues at Alton, didn't really seem to affect him that much. It was obviously probably a bit frustrating for him, but he did come through that pack, and also Glenn Irwin started at the back of, I forget which race it was now, but one of the races, and they started basically together at the back of the grid. Was that the race when... no, it wasn't when... It was the other race when Irwin got,
race 1. It was race 1.
Yeah. And Haslam made his way up and finished... forget exactly. Third, was it? Okay.
Second in race 2.
And Glenn Irwin didn't make his way through. And we'd consider Glenn Irwin to be a very, very good rider, obviously.
Yep.
But it says a lot about the talent, the skill, and the class of Leon Haslam for him to literally come from the back to finish right up at the front or on the podium anyway. So. Doesn't matter really where he qualifies, perhaps.
But Assen is a totally different track to Alton Park.
Well, yeah, obviously, but...
There's no real stop-start corners at Alton Park until the Shell Oil's hairpin.
Maybe it might be easier for someone like Haslam to come from the back at Assen. Maybe.
Who knows?
But for the sake of the fans who want to see things go literally down to the wire, the last corner of the last race of the last event of the season, as what happened previously. Let's just hope, for a fan's point of view only, sorry to be so selfish, but let's just hope that Haslam doesn't wrap it all up. And maybe Jake Dixon can keep the pressure on, let's say, just so that we can all enjoy a super spectacular Brands Hatch in a couple of weeks' time.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more with that sentiment at all, Lester. You got it bob on. Let's hope it goes right down to the wire. Of course, British Super Sports is back this weekend at Assen. Oh, yeah. No Stock 1000, so we're not going to talk about Stock 1000. We'll talk about that more looking ahead to Brands Hatch. The Super Sport Championship, 30 points between Jack Kennedy, who leads the championship, and Ben Curry. 4 races to go. Jack Kennedy can finish second in all races and still win the title if Ben Curry wins all of the remaining 4 races. That would give him a winning advantage of 10. But Alistair Seeley and David Allingham, they're all going to want to get in the act. David Allingham will want to beat both Ben Curry and Jack Kennedy on track and take a win against both of them in level terms, I suppose, because Jack Kennedy wasn't at Brands Hatch. So watch out for Seeley especially. He's dynamite round Assen. James Raspoli got his first British Supersport podium at Assen. There's a new helmet coming out every year. He will be dropping that tomorrow. Keep your eyes on Instagram for that. Bjorn Esman, again, goes well at Assen most years. P4 on the grid last year, P5 in the race. Supersport Evo pole position in 2015. Good qualifying in 2016 as well on the front row on the Triumph. So keep your eyes out for Everquip. They like Assen. It's a bit of an event for them guys out there anyway from a business point of view, but the rides are going to, I think, deliver pretty good on track as well. So just keep an eye out.
Well, it's almost a home race for them because aren't they based in Hull?
Well, that must be the nearest track to them.
Yeah, because it's literally just like a 7-hour ferry ride or whatever it is.
Well, it's a 2-hour swim then, isn't it, really? There's a ferries nowadays.
But, I mean, in terms of connections, in terms of time travelled on the road, it's next door, isn't it, for them?
It's next door. It's over the river.
Yeah, the river.
So a little bit more news to get through. Watch out for Brad Jones, James Westmoreland and Sam Wilford. All of those riders are capable of podiums. Brad Jones, I think, might have a very, very good weekend, but James Westmoreland looking to win. Don't forget, James Westmoreland at Assen for the Gearlink Kawasaki team. Both of those riders are looking to help their senior teammates. James Westmoreland looking to help Ben Curry on the Gearlink Kawasaki, and Brad Jones looking to help Jack Kennedy on the McAdams Yamaha. Interesting though, neither of those have won yet. So will they go for broke and take all the glory, or will they be team players? We will soon see. Normally a brilliant race at Assen, actually, for the Supersport guys. It is more of a group breakaway, if you want to call it that. So definitely tune in for the race then. It's going to be brilliant, I feel. And I think we may well start to get a little inkling into how this championship is going to go. One mistake from your leading riders and it could all go wrong.
Yeah, last few events, really, never mind the last few races, have provided quite a lot of spectacular action and drama and dicing to and fro and all that. But you'd know if you've seen them anyway. But yeah, a lot of let's just hope that they can do at Assen what they did at Silverstone and at Alton as well, and provide some amazing action. And you can
it was good as well.
Not tell who was going to win or who was because there were literally at least 3 riders all the way through for the past few races who could literally win that, and they were swapping places, and for them to do it moderately respectfully is
I'm glad you said moderately, because Alice Cecilia and Jack Kennedy, I think we're going to have a kickboxing championship after that one.
Well, the fact that nobody crashed is what I mean.
Nobody crashed because of the overtakes, we should say.
Yeah, because, I mean, the way that they were going at each other, wow, literally sort of PS3...
We should say on track.
On track. I mean, there was like sort of PlayStation moves, weren't they? So sort of almost using each other as brakes, sort of like literally leaning into it.
Levering them aside. So come on then, Lester, let's get some predictions.
I don't know.
Let's get some predictions. World Superbike race winner, British Superbike race winners, and British Supersport. We've got 5 minutes.
No. I'm not saying it because I don't know, and
you'll be right.
No,
I'll say Jonathan Ray double.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Haslam and Dixon for race wins. Don't know in what order. Super Sport, I'm gonna say an Alice Cecilia and Ben Curry affair again.
Interesting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But of course, let us know in the comments what you think as well.
Yeah, if you've got any particular opinions.
If you're brave enough, unlike Lester, who's wimping out.
Well, I just don't. I'm literally just waiting to see. I mean, I don't have a bet on things like Kiko does. I don't invest my life away. But I'm just literally going to be a total neutral and just hope for a good race. If it's a boring race, then I'll call them out for it.
Just going to have a quick look at the last few comments. We've had a few coming about Glen Irwin.
Oh, yeah?
Other posts across the motorsport world. And in all fairness, I'm not entirely sure that what some people are saying is fair.
Well, what have people been saying? Because
Paul Bird has taken quite a lot of flack for something that's been a little bit out of his hand, out of his control.
I mean, who initiated? I mean, how did, from apparently having a deal with Paul Bird or a provisional deal or something, some sort of provisional arrangement in place, how did he go from that next year to being a JG Speedfit rider?
Well, Paul Bird's made it public that he was prepared to. It's results bit driven, and Glenn Irwin doesn't want to race this year, and that's what he's looking at. He's a businessman. He's looking at it from a business aspect. He's in here to win championships. He's won one of the. He is the most successful team owner. He's looking at it like that, but you've got to feel sorry for Glenn as well. Although Glenn's got himself a very good ride, what looks to be the championship-winning bike this year. Let's not forget.
Who knows? Yes.
We assume the Kawasaki is going to be a championship winner. We just don't know which one, if it's going to be white and green or white, red and blue.
But, yeah, if you are of the opinion that maybe it's a good move for JG Speedfit, the team, or Bournemouth Kawasaki, and also Glenn Irwin as well. If you think that's a good deal for everyone all around, let us know. If you think it's maybe a bad deal, if you think maybe the team shouldn't have done that, or it's potentially the rider, Glenn, shouldn't have maybe gone there because you maybe wanted someone like Sachs maybe to be at Bournemouth Kawasaki for next year, maybe replacing Leon Haslam.
Or maybe there's still room to go because we think Luke Mossey's on the move, as we said last week.
Yeah, that is another hot rumour, as you mentioned. Luke Mossey, nothing confirmed. No one said anything officially, I don't think. I don't know if they have any.
I haven't seen anything.
But that is a rumour only, that it could be all change at JG Speedfit for next year. Literally all change.
But who knows?
Who knows? Maybe you know if you're tuned in live to us, and we should know something. Maybe we need to correct the record. Let's say
we should just say before we go, because we are going in a minute. We have Joanna Lumley's Silk Road Adventure to catch up on from last night, and then that should fall just in time for question time.
So just before we go,
yes, hello to Alex Murley, World Supersport 300 rider. Thank you for tuning in. And hello to Jay King, regular viewer. Thank you very much for tuning in. Simon Hall and everyone else is joining in. Jay King says shaky to Honda is the word. Well, I've said that before. Is the Honda good enough? That's the question. A lot of people unsure on Honda's capabilities. We think Honda will change their riders. They surely won't keep the same riders for another year.
How many years is that now?
4.
4 years.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, 15, 16, 17, 15, 16.
Well, they've both
14,
been...
15, trying to think now.
Yeah.
4 years. 15, 16, 17, 18.
Counting as me.
It's unbelievable that I got a 9 on Countdown earlier.
Anyway.
Today I do watch Countdown, by the way.
But yeah, shaky to Honda. Could that realistically be a thing and not just something that that Jay King might have dreamt up or heard somewhere? But
he's just stirring rumours, isn't he? He's there with his
maybe.
mill,
Maybe he's been on a certain BSB Facebook group and saw loads of people talking a load of nonsense. Hello, by the way, if you tuned in. Talking about all sorts of things. I've heard things like Shaky will be on a sidecar next year. All sorts of wild accusations.
We want to know when Michael Howarth's returning. We should just give a massive shout out to Michael. We know he's forever in and out of hospital with his leg and hip and whatnot. So all the best, Michael. Hope you're well and all that.
Yes. Hello and good evening and good night. Really, because that's it. That's the end of the show. We've talked absolutely everything about seemingly everything, and we've talked absolutely nothing about everything as well. My name is Lester, Kiko Giles here, and on Monday, don't forget, the Motorsport Awards officially opens launch, and it's your chance to nominate who you think should be in with a chance to potentially win a Motorsport Awards. Check all the categories out over on motorsportawards.com. We will definitely keep you updated with everything. The final awards category, the final awards selection, the shortlist, let's say, call them what you like, open in November, but For now, on Monday, it's your chance to nominate who you think deserves to be officially nominated for a Motorsport Award.
Absolutely.
Kiko, thank you very much for joining us.
We should also say that we will be at Cool Fab next Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
And Monday, so we're not sure on show scheduling yet. So we should just point that out because it's an early morning start for us all, and we'd have to pack the studio up, and that means a lot of effort. So
it means me literally not getting any sleep, and
we might do a pre-recorded show on a Wednesday, throw it out on a Thursday.
Yeah, or we might just literally do a surprise 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Whoever, wherever, whatever. Even if you missed the live show, you can also download it as an audio download, and also from Apple Podcasts as a visual thing as well, or just watch it back on our website, motorsport.radio. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Thank you to everybody who's been in touch, liked and shared the post, and we will be back in some form at some point sometime next week. Good night.
Good night.
Motorsport Radio, the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.